Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here at USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is a woman's prerogative. Our topic is, what will it take to stay focused and reduce negative thoughts? Joining me is the star of our show. It's MARISKA. Let's welcome her. Hello, Mariska.
Hello, and it's wonderful to be back for show number 2 in one day.
Absolutely. We had our live book launch today, which is super exciting. Went really well. Thanks for being there.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to be talking about a topic that I think is really near and dear to entrepreneurs, to anyone who's looking to make a change or hit a goal. And I know that you work with leaders to do this exact thing. So tell us a little bit before we start about your work.
Yeah, for those of you that do not know me, MARISKA, and I work with specialists and leaders moving up in the leadership journey. So typically this is, yes, a little bit around focus and getting rid of all those negative voices that we have stringing along the way. And it also helps us to be a little bit more human in our interactions. So that's what I normally do. And then, of course, I also have fun projects, such as helping with the Lady Ella series as a co-author. And that's the book launch that we had a little bit earlier today. So do go and check out how to listen a little bit better for you and the kids. So, of course, I don't know about anybody else, but I know for me, I love anything related to children's stories, not only the writing of them, but also the reading and enjoying all of the Disney channels. Sometimes I think I enjoy it more than the kids. So yes, if you are a little bit like me and enjoy all things children, why not go and have a gander at the book?
Thanks so much. And you can find all of our books over on Amazon.com. You can just put in either of our names and you will find the books. So, Mariska, our topic is, what will it take to stay focused and reduce negative thoughts? And today I had an opportunity to take Dr. Sadi Rajput's course about brain health. And she also provides an assessment about the type of mindset that you have. And there are 5 different types of mindsets. And I found out that mine was balanced and stable, but you can have up to 15, I guess, triggers or things that are causing concern. So I had 4, which was pretty good. And I thought to myself, I'm going to take myself personally and professionally to another level. So I started this 75 Hard program today. And so it's really timely for me because it's when you decide you're going to do something, you're very excited. It's all thrilling. Everything's good. And then as you get into it, you start to feel things coming up for you because we want to go back to what's easy. We want to go back to what we know. So what are your thoughts about, in your journey, times when you needed to stay focused and were wavering?
Oh, I think it's always, we have a tendency to be our own worst enemy. And focus, there's a piece of it that I know for a lot of us, we think about it around our motivation and how we stay motivated and do all of those things. And Dr. JACALYN, when I think about the focus, and as you were describing it, is really not about the beginning of it, because starting the project, for most people, quite easy to do. It is when it gets sucky, when it gets really tricky and difficult and we don't enjoy it anymore. And to think, well, do I still do this thing? Do I push through? Or do I do the comfortable thing and, I don't know, go and sit on the couch and watch TV or whatever it is that the comfortable thing might look like? And being very clear where we're driving to, I think for me is something that helps me through those times. So understanding exactly what it is that I want to achieve, what it is that I'm working towards, helps me to get through those areas where it sucks. It's not fun. I don't want to be doing it anymore. I don't want to get up to do it anymore. It's just, it's not fun at all. And if I don't keep in mind what it is that I want to get out of this, where I'm driving towards, then I will most probably just, well, leave it to ruin and just go back to the easy way of doing things, the one that I'm used to. Typically, I don't, because I know what it is that I want to drive for. And if that means pushing through the yucky bits too, that's what's going to happen. Although the negative thoughts, Dr. JACALYN, I know we've had quite a few conversations around this, and they do have a tendency to come up, don't they?
Yes, they definitely do. And I was thinking to myself that our why is what drives us. And when we make a commitment to do something, we have a why. But then we get distracted. Or for me, for example, I'm completely changing what my day looks like. So in between different shows today, because of the 75 hard, you have to work out twice a day at 2 different times. You have to work out for 45 minutes each time. And one time it has to be outside. So you can't, what I would normally do is I'd walk for 45 minutes and then go to the gym, but you can't do that. So in between shows today, I had to get 2 workouts in and drink a gallon of water and read 10 pages from a book. I mean, it's hard, and they make it hard because it's to test your mental strength and your mental fortitude. And now I've been going since early this morning, and I'm tired. I'm thinking, wow, I really would like to have something to eat, like to have a glass of wine. I'd like to, but no, I cannot do. I still have, I would say, a quart of water left to drink. So what I decided was, I purchased these notebooks, not a play for my brand, but I never use them. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to start journaling what I'm feeling. I'm going to write down every day what my experience is for the next 75 days. And I'm going to start off with my why. And then I'll look at that every day and say, this is why you decided you wanted to do this.
I think another thing that helps me, especially get out of the negative thought patterns, is finding the thing that I'm grateful for. So I know that there is, within that gratefulness space, people that say typically try 3 things. So for most people, 3 things are really, I won't say it's a low bar. It's a fairly easy thing to do, to think about 3 things that you are grateful for. And upping the ante a little bit, making it from 3 to 5. So it really gets us thinking about what we are grateful for. Because when we think about the thing that we are grateful for, of course, it takes us away from the negative thoughts. It also helps us to switch our brain a little bit easier to those positive thoughts. And putting another little piece into that is, when we have identified something that we are grateful for today, not to repeat the same gratefulnesses, Not that we're not grateful for them, but coming up with new ones for the next days. So that we don't all the time say, well, I'm grateful because I woke up this morning, or I'm grateful because the sun is shining. Finding something else that we also feel grateful for. So that actually helps us and tunes us into looking for things that we are grateful for. And for me, it helps me to get my brain out of the negative thoughts and look for the things that's positive in my life and where I am learning. So even if I have something where I'm struggling with it because it's difficult or it's hard to do, still having a learning from it. And Dr. JACALYN, I appreciate you journaling what you're going through, right? It's part of the learning process. When we journal, we look at what happened during the day, what we felt, how it felt for us, what exactly is going on for us, and we learn from that process. So what's other tips and techniques that you have, Dr. JACALYN?
One thing is affirmations. Absolutely. I do a lot of affirmations. I do a lot of prayer. And something that's really important to me, and it's surprising to me because it doesn't seem to be as important to people in general, is doing what you said you were going to do. And what I found is it's very easy to make an excuse of why you're not going to do that, whatever the thing is, because that's what we're used to. And I think there's a whole mindset also of, when it comes to self-care, that we shouldn't put ourselves in a position if it's not going to be loving kindness to ourselves. But at the same time, by not doing what we said we're going to do, we're actually giving ourselves the ability to lose our self-esteem and our confidence, and also the trust of other people.
Yeah, and our own trust in ourselves.
Yes, exactly. So I think what it comes down to is that no one, in most cases, I can't say all cases, but when we're not forced into making a decision and we elect to make the decision, and we've put a lot of thought into the decision, then I feel that we need to do what we said we were going to do. And of course, during that process, things come up and we start to waver. But at our core, we know that there was a reason why we said we were going to do whatever it was. And so to me, I know when I did this 75 hard before, I made a commitment to myself. It's not to anyone, it's just to me. And after 14 days, I stopped because there's so much water. You have to run to the bathroom a zillion times. It's very hard to do. You know, today I went out on a walk and I made it a mile. And unfortunately, there was a restroom. But so that's kind of counterproductive to when you're working. But so I said to myself, this time, you know, you have to drink a gallon of water. So what are you going to do? Are you going to wait until the middle of the day? No, you got to start drinking water from the beginning of the day throughout the day, and your body will acclimate. But it's a mindset. So I feel that this time I have set myself up to win. I don't think it's going to be easy. And if it was easy, I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, it's being able to challenge ourselves. And I appreciate the learnings that you take from when you did this before, right? As you mentioned, there's some things that you noticed before that might not have been in your favor in the way that you did it. So changing it in order for us to be more successful. And that is what we do with everything in life, really. If we don't learn from the experience we had, then how will we improve the experience that we will have next time? And next time, it's most probably not going to be an easier case. It's most probably going to be something that is a little bit more challenging, or a lot more challenging, that we need to work through. Whether this is a relationship, whether this is speaking to a colleague about some difficult conversation that we need to have, or whether this is taking on a challenge like you are doing at the moment.
Yes, thanks, Mariska. And I'm also thinking that when we make a commitment to do something, it is personal, and maybe other people are not going to get it. But I mean, that happens all the time, right? I mean, even when you're in the public domain, that doesn't mean everyone's going to agree with you. So if we set ourselves up to win from the beginning, that the only opinion that matters about this commitment is our own, then we automatically eliminate all of those possible reasons that we're going to quit. Because, and I've done this to myself as well. This particular program, 75 Hard, again, not a paid spokesperson, there's no compromise. You can't say, okay, you know what, I'm going to drink close to a gallon of water, but not exactly a gallon, or I'm going to walk for 30 minutes. You have to do exactly as it's been written. Otherwise, you have to start over. And the person who came up with the program, he said that, you know, people would reach out and say, hey, it doesn't work for me right now. I'm going on a trip. My birthday's coming up. And they're all excuses. And so that's part of the whole thing, that in life, we're always waiting for the perfect time to do something. And there is no perfect time. So if we went and did exactly what it is we said we were going to do, when we said we were going to do it, imagine how much further on we would be, as opposed to waiting. How many times do you hear this? I've heard this so many times. This isn't a good time to change my lifestyle because the holidays are coming up. This isn't a good time because the kids are home. We can always come up with excuses, and therefore we stay in the easy zone, making excuses for ourselves.
Yeah. That is so true. And it's so interesting how easy we come up with the excuse, and yet we complain about the fact that nothing changes. We, as I said at the beginning, we are our own worst enemy. We don't want the thing that we are stuck in, but we also don't want to change it because, well, it's not the right time right now. So what exactly is it that you are doing? You're actually accepting whatever the situation is that you are in. And we need to realize that that's what we're doing. We need to realize that we have the responsibility to change what we don't like. And yes, it's going to take work. And yes, it's going to be difficult. But it's our responsibility. And if it doesn't change, then that's our responsibility too. It is all back to us. It's nobody else. Nobody else's fault. Nobody else's nothing. It is our choice. And I think there's a lot of, in general, a lot of finger pointing going on these days where it's everybody else. And we are not taking enough responsibility for what happens ourselves. And I don't know, Dr. JACALYN, what are you finding in that realm?
I agree with what you're saying. I think we all have role models. Okay. And I've shared mine. Mine's Oprah and Tony Robbins. And when I think about them, I don't know the exact details of their journey, but I know that they weren't handed a box and said, hey, open it. Everything that you need is going to be given to you. So we also know people who never seem to get anywhere, and they're always finding excuses. So we can mirror ourselves after somebody who's really made something of themselves successfully. And that can be any number of things. That could be philanthropically, it could be financially, it could be spiritually, any number of things. But when we look at the journey that they've taken, they, of course, had distractions. They, of course, had people who didn't believe in what they were doing, and yet they pushed forward anyway. And I think that's one of the things I would really like people to think about when you have these negative thoughts, because they do come up for us. And again, I'm going to recommend Dr. Sadi Rajput's course. We have it for $15. And that's part of the reason why I'm wearing this Band-Aid. So if I have a negative thought, I snap it. And then I go, I win. I overcame that thought, because it tingles, and all of a sudden that thought is gone. So when we want to accomplish something, I look at it like this. Okay, I'm taking on this program. I already know what to expect because I started it and I failed. And apparently, by the way, that when you start and fail, the likelihood of you succeeding a second time is much lower. And that intrigues me because now I'm going to push myself even further. But I don't expect, I know it's going to be raining. And you have to do one of the workouts for 45 minutes outside. It doesn't matter what the weather is. And the founder talked about tornadoes, hurricanes, lightning. And he said, you have to be smart. You have to figure out a way to get it done. You could be in your driveway with weights, for example, but you have to figure out some way to get it done. So I checked the weather. So I already know some of these obstacles that are going to be put in my way. And so I'm mentally saying to myself, like now I feel a little tired. I'm like, no, you're not tired. You have just been born. You are going on an exciting journey where you're going to get to see another side of who JACALYN KERBECK is. And that's exciting to me.
That sounds very exciting. If you keep on, we might have a whole following of doing this challenge with you.
There's a huge number of people who've already completed it. And what's interesting is, and again, just from listening to the podcast by the guy who founded it, Andy, is that in every case, there were people in all walks of life. He talked about a person had no legs and one arm who did this challenge.
Wow. So
it goes to show you that it is mental. And what we put into our body, what we watch, who we surround ourselves with, it all has an impact on our mindset. So Mariska, if it's the difference between you getting something done or not done, it could definitely have to do with what you put into this container, what you put into this brain.
Yeah. What we surround ourselves with, whether it is thinking, whether it is food, whether it is in our environment itself. If we are in clean water, it will permeate. If we are in dirty water or sludge, it will permeate. Whatever it is that is in our vicinity is going to go through. So it just makes sense that put yourself in an environment. It goes back to the saying of the 5 people that you surround yourself most often with. Make sure that is the quality of person that you want to have and that you want to be. It makes such a big difference. And also, when you think about those people, remember the books we read, the other sort of stuff that we consume, whether it is a podcast, whether it's a TV show, whatever the thing is that we consume, all of that are thoughts from other people. So that is people that we also bring into our life. And making sure that we understand what we're doing when we're doing that and the effect that it has on us. I think that to me, we have teachers in all sorts of different places, and it is up to us to learn the lessons, but also to make sure that we are in an environment that would help us to learn the lessons that we need to be learning for that period of time. So definitely container make sure you fill it the right way. And Dr. JACALYN, it sounds like you are definitely filling yours at the moment the right way, which makes me wonder, what book is it that you are reading a few pages of every day?
So thanks. As you know, this is day 1. And guess what the good news is? Day 1, I'm almost through. I just have a little bit of water left. So today's book is, and again, not a paid spokesperson, it's The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. And the tagline is the only difference between success and failure. And so this is what I'm reading right now. Believe it or not, when I did the program the last time and failed, I also started reading this book, and I picked up some new things from Grant in reading this book. So, and it was interesting because I don't do a lot of reading because I'm doing a lot of other things creatively. And when I took the time to read the 10 pages today, I thought, really enjoying this, actually. I'm enjoying reading a book that has value, that somebody who is a success, financially, materially, and other ways. I don't know him. So I just know what I've seen on television and what I've heard on Clubhouse, that I'm looking forward to learning as much as I can from Grant in this book.
And I love the fact that even going through the book the second time, you are picking up, again, new insights within that.
It's so true, because if you think about it, and I've been doing this for the last few weeks, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm listening to Clubhouse, I forget what it is, the $1 Million Breakfast Table, Breakfast of Champions. And there are always people talking about the adversity that they've had in their life. And then they were flat out, they were homeless, they were broke, they were this, they were that, and what their story was to get to where they are today. And so I feel like the more we fill up our brains with education, like what we're providing today, it makes sense that something positive is going to come from it.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. And as you were talking and mentioning the fact that adversity has this, it's almost like a catalyst. I think whatever the thing is that we go through, if we didn't have that happen, then the lesson that we're learning from it wouldn't be as significantly integrated into our being as it is. And whenever it is that I mean, for me, Dr. Jacalyn, every time I think about the journey that you are on, I am inspired, because I know where you started. I know how, before all of the millions of subscribers that I don't think we're at millions yet, but that we are getting to on this platform, and everybody watching and listening on the platform, there was a pre-platform Dr. Jacalyn with a whole set of different things that was going on for you in your life at that stage. And we need in life that change, sort of a kick from the universe to sometimes get us started. And then it's our choice whether we keep going or not. And Dr. Jacalyn, you are so inspirational, because you keep going continuously, and there's always new and better and more improved. So thank you for also inspiring, well, me and the rest of everybody else out there that's listening and watching USA Global TV and radio.
Thank you, Mariska. That means a lot, because, as you know, I spend a lot of time by myself, and I have the strategic picture, and then I also have the day-to-day. And sometimes at the end of the day, I don't feel like anyone could really understand all the nuances between the two businesses and everything else that is going on. And I say to myself, this has grown tremendously. I mean, just the numbers itself. When we started as Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, I forget what year it even was. We had like 1,084 views for a year. And we weren't on that often. I don't remember how often we were on, actually. But, now it's hundreds of thousands of views in 28 days. It's amazing to me. So that in and of itself, just doing the search engine optimization, we have a team of people working on it now. That's a full-time thing that people have to do, because the platforms are always changing the algorithms. And of course, as you know, we stream to multiple platforms, and I'm now investing in the Facebook platform as well. I have people working on that, and on LinkedIn. So getting more people to know about us. But, something else that I want to applaud you for is that you've really blossomed and grown since you've been a part of this journey. And your your professionalism and your confidence and your ability to deliver content at the highest quality, and maybe have a deck, maybe not have a deck, it's escalated tremendously. And it's funny because we have people who come and go, and that's how life is. And when I do a debrief, sometimes somebody will say, well, I didn't get any business. Okay, well, did you market yourself? You did the show. Did you market it? Did you tell people about it? Did you put it on your show? Like, no, I didn't do any of that. Okay, well, you want that box again. You want someone to hand you the box or the magic wands. You have to put the work in. And as you know, talking heads, that's hard to do. It's hard to do. It takes a commitment. And that's why not everyone can be a talking head. And then I'll stop talking. Is I was doing talking heads, and I saw how much time it was taking, and I thought, wow, I can't do that. I'm not in the mental space to do that and do all these other things. Well, now I'm going to be pushing myself to do it again, because it's a challenge. That's what's out there.
Yeah. And I think the thing that I enjoy and really appreciate about this platform is the fact that we get to learn and grow. And this is a little bit like when you have a small puppy or a cat, baby cat, which is called kittens. Yes, I know. So typically when we live with them, we don't notice them grow up. We don't notice them getting bigger. Now, with cats and dogs, it's really easy to see because it's a couple of months that the change occurs in. In human beings, it takes a little bit longer. So maybe you have children of your own, or maybe you have nieces and nephews. So when they're very little, we sort of see them. Few months go past, they're a little bit bigger. A few months go past again, or a couple of years, and all of a sudden they stretch. And that's what we get to see on this platform too. We get to see people grow and stretch. I mean, I don't want to necessarily be my own worst example, but if you guys go back and have a look at our stuff that we did way back when we were rapping with Dr. JACALYN, there's some most probably very interesting photographic material available of, well, me and Dr. JACALYN doing what it is that we do. And we grow from that. We learn from that. We change the way that we approach it. And isn't that part of what we are supposed to be doing as human beings on this planet, is to learn and grow? I don't know. Dr. JACALYN, what do you think?
I listen, that's what I'm about. That's who I am. And, I've had people, and I mentioned this before, I've had people say to me, you work too much, which is a judgment, right? You telling someone else what they're doing. But that's what it takes. It takes that level of commitment to make a business succeed. I've watched Shark Tank. I've listened to interviews, listened to podcasts for the people who are successful. You can't have one hand in and one hand out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So for some period of time, let's say 3 years, you have to be fully engaged. So I would say I'm working between 80 and 90 hours a week, realistically, 7 days a week, that even when I'm not on the air. But I'm okay with it because I'm on a mission. And if I said to myself, oh, I'm going to take a day off, and no, I'm not taking a day off. I'm working out. I'm taking care of myself, but I have the focus and the drive, and I have a plan.
Yeah. And that goes back to what you mentioned at the beginning, having your why in the beginning of your journaling book, so that we keep that front and center when we have to go through these challenging situations, whether we have set them up for ourselves or whether it is something that comes up and it's the universe giving us a little bit of a kick up the butt.
Absolutely. So when you think about your next challenge, if there's something that you'd like to share personally or professionally, is there something that you, maybe it's kind of, it's there and you've thought about it, but you didn't want to fully commit to it? And I'll give you an example. Today, during the course with Dr. Rajput, she talked about mental strength, mental awareness, and doing some mind games, for example, to help strengthen your mind. So one of the things that I said I would do was juggling. So I'm going to get a piece of paper and put into crumble to 3 balls. I'm going to start juggling. I don't really feel like doing it because I'm tired, but I'm interested to see what's going to happen as a result of my juggling. So I made a commitment to do it, and I'm going to do it. So if you have something, maybe something small like that, or maybe if something much more grand.
Oh, so currently I am working on, I'm not sure whether it is called mindfulness, but there's a mindfulness and a clearing that I am busy with personally, just for myself. So I'm within that practice, and for that there is some meditation requirements. So for me, at the moment, that is the thing that I am committing to, is doing meditation. At least the very minimum is once a day, and I am trying to do actually 2 sets in a day, so having one in the morning and one in the evening. So yes, that is what I am committed to, and looking forward to seeing how I grow and change through that process too.
Outstanding. Outstanding. So as we think about the tips, advice, direction that we want to leave the audience with, what is coming up for me is that if your why is strong enough, if you can visualize yourself. In fact, one of the examples that Andy from 75 Hard that he mentioned is sometimes we walk past a magnificent home, for example, and one person might say, "Oh, who lives there? How could anybody afford that?" And a second person is envisioning themselves at the pool with their friends, or maybe they're barbecuing on the back and they're thinking, yes, that is going to be me, and I'm going to take the steps that I need to get there. We can have very limiting beliefs, and this is a whole other program, but especially as women, when we sell ourselves short and say, "Oh, I'll never make that kind of money," or "I'm not good enough to do that," or "I can't charge this for that," we put ourselves in a corner. We put ourselves with a label, and then we think we're going to be able to do the business that we want to do, or to have the relationships that we want to have, when we've already put ourselves down and put ourselves back.
Yeah. I think that the thing that I'm taking from it, and to your point, Dr. Jacalyn, is when whatever it is that we believe is the thing that we step into the space with, and making sure that that is not a hindrance, but a help. So again, back to my very first comment around, we are our own worst enemies. So we can help ourselves, as you mentioned with the pool, envisioning that we are sitting next to the pool enjoying a barbecue, or we can not help ourselves by wondering, well, how did this person do it? And just being envious of it. So really making sure that we know where it is that our thoughts are going with us, and not to give them as much power as we do.
And that's the answer right there. That's the way to sum it up. It's that whatever we decide is important, or where we're going to put our focus, that's where our energy is going to go. So if we say to ourselves, like with this program, if I say to myself, "Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be able to do it." But instead, I'm setting myself up for success. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to get up at 5:30. I'm going to get the first workout out of the way. I'm going to drink the water. It's like with Solid Core, of course, not a paid spokesperson. I just went yesterday. I happened to be in the city, and there were only 3 of us there, and the other 2 people were brand new. And I've had 600 and some classes. And I thought to myself, I have an obligation to show up. And this is after I was live streaming from the Philadelphia Lincoln Financial Field with Justin. We were covering the 2023 Take Steps. So I was tired walking around, filming, interviewing. And I said, that who cares? It doesn't matter. What matters is that you push yourself to the degree that you can push yourself. And once again, I surprised myself because it's all mental.
It is. And that, I think that's one of the things that I really appreciate about any sport. Any sport that we physically expose our bodies to some or other harsh environment, whether it is running for a very long distance or exercising at a solid core class after a very long day or going for a triathlon, whatever the thing is, the mental piece of it is a lot more important than the body piece of it. The body piece of it, yes, of course, we train that in. And once the body is trained in, that's all good. Then it's up to the mind whether it is something that we will be doing or not. And that is a really important lesson, no matter where we go in life in general. If we, the body can do anything, literally. We can train it to do anything. This needs to be right too.
Exactly. Very well said. Well, my friend, it's time to sign off. I have to go meet with Red, the paperback. So how can people get in touch with you, and who would you like to contact you?
Well, you guys can get in touch with me via my email, which is mariska@journey2discover.com. Or alternatively, you can also get hold of me via LinkedIn and send me a message there, and I am sure to connect with you. And people to connect, if you are within a specialization, you want to explore leadership and find out what that is all about or how you can be better at it. Maybe you have recently stepped into a new leadership position. There's loads to learn. And also, if you are already in the leadership position and you want to level yourself up, learn a little bit more about what works and what doesn't work and how you can be the best you can be. That is all, people. That is more than welcome to contact me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And so for anybody out there, if you are interested in purchasing our latest book, it's available right now as an ebook, and soon, hopefully after this conversation, it'll be available as paperback. I'm going to show you the book. It is The Ocean Calls and Lady Ella Listens. It's book 4 in the series of The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. Mariska and I co-authored this with Dr. Chan, although she's not on this particular copy. Let's see if she's here. Okay. And this is a tool to teach children and their families how to listen at an elevated level. So you can go over to Amazon and pick up this book. Our next book is coming out. It's already an Amazon #1 new release. It's called Lady Ella Listens in the Baobab National Game Park. So we'll see you there. Mariska, thank you so much for another fabulous show. Thank you, everyone. We will be back tomorrow with another full day of broadcasting. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.